try your crazy ideas to beat the new raid boss in Borderlands 4, starting with the easiest and slowly getting more challenging as the video goes on. The first comment I got was from Callaghan TM, asking for a modded gun run, and luckily one does exist. It is the modded bod. Usually the normal one is OP enough, but here somehow it's more broken, breaking the crystals in just a couple of seconds and then skipping the immune phase. The actual takedown is over before you even know it, almost taking him out before he even touched the first platform. And no drop. Then obviously we get every single chest. Now out of curiosity, see what we get, and it's just 2 legendaries. If you're interested, this is what the stats are, and it's so broken because it just uses multiple legendary effects, mainly to get all elements, but it does have a super high fire rate, reload and damage output. The next comment was from Smurferino Smurf, who said, use the lowest rated build in a Moxsy video. So I checked his most recent tier list, and the worst rated was a D tier Apophis Lance Rafa. So I went and redid my skills, formed a vending machine for some of the gear he uses, and just jumped right into it pretty much. Keep in mind, I've never used this skill before, but I did end up dying twice before getting a full takedown. And I wouldn't say the build is awful, it's much better than the one coming up at least, but I have no clue why anyone would choose the Stellium gun, just the slow projectiles are horrible. But now for the actual run, as you can see the crystal decimation is incredibly satisfying, just like a hot plasma ball through butter, leaving only the secondary orbs to break. Again, just wish this build had a better gun, as you kind of have to pre-fire them and get super close, but overall the first phase was pretty easy, honestly. The first 2 Apophis Lance hits were lackluster to say the least, didn't really deal much damage, and I'm not sure if it's just me, but having this skill kind of makes me feel like my brain's lagging. Having to wait so long to shoot is just painful, and I don't know why the click to charge just seems pretty inconsistent. Yeah, anyway, I just tried going for the crit spot, just see if I can do a bit more damage, and tried spamming it a bit, but obviously that wasn't a good idea. And went off cooldown, I tried again, and I actually got a decent chunk this time. This build is meant to be used when there's multiple enemies. I did try a few runs after to see if I could get anything better, but nothing much better really than what you just saw. Maybe someone with more knowledge needs to run it, but I just couldn't get any more damage, even if I did line up those enemies as Moxsy was explaining. Then the final few hits, again, decent chunk of damage, but not the one shot I'm kind of looking for that's technically possible. And then just like always shooting into the void, I just didn't realise he'd swap platforms. I do eventually figure it out and finish him off. Just see what he drops here. We don't have a legendary, unfortunately. And then for that we get 2 chests, since we did miss some of the time rewards, and no legendary again. Of course, if anyone is interested, the full build is here, the gear, skill tree and specializations, or you can check out the Moxsy video linked down below. And the next comment was from Celine Chex, asking for more throwing knife only, since I did recently finish my challenge run. And let's just get out of the way, it did take a few attempts, dying pretty quickly in most of them, with the first one actually being the best, but just a silly mistake after losing focus during the 30-minute run, just ended up taking me out, falling to my doom, but in the end I got this run. So, starting off, I decided to use a Merv throwing knife. This is because it speeds up this section a whole lot, with most of the grenades bouncing in a tight enough cluster or radius to deal extra damage to the crystals, as you can see, and then they also splash onto the smaller vile enemies, which not only takes them out, but it does reduce my Haruspex cooldown as long as I kill them. I'm not sure if Haruspex does work on the big crystals, it's kind of iffy, sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't, and then luckily the knives do hit the small orbs. Haruspex would be better, but they get the job done. And then just for the sake of time, speeding up the video here and just put it in the corner, I did just continue it until I broke all the crystals. Did end up taking quite a while, so just much easier skipping ahead and keeping it just to show that I did actually do it. But yeah, I'm getting PTSD from my knife only challenge run. Feels good for about 5 seconds when I throw all my knives and use Haruspex, but then you kind of realise, oh, everything's on cooldown now and I've got to run for my life. Luckily the movement options with the grapple points are super useful, very handy, and I'm not going to overdo the corner speed up thing. Like, I do have a full video where I do knife only, so obviously I'm not going to cheat, and this was more just a challenge to myself, I see, to see if I could do it. But honestly, apart from the intense focus for an extended length of time, it wasn't actually too difficult. Like, the smaller enemies were a little bit annoying, but they were too slow most of the time, so I was able to go platform to platform with not much issue. As long as I didn't land or stay on the platform Bloomreaper was on for too long. The only real problem was the beam attack or the spores, and the tracking in this game is like really bad to say the least. Like, it just doesn't work that well, at least when you're flying. And I guess that absorb feature that you just saw was also a little bit annoying, but not too terrible as long as I aim properly. And then slowly but surely just repeating it until I got into his next immune phase. And I have to say, the Merv grenade throw knife is just the best by far. After using every knife in the game pretty much, I have come to that decision. It's like not even close. The extra damage it does after the like first initial hit just makes it so much better than everything else. And then I accidentally hit the eye to get absorbed, but it still worked. Then the next phase was super awkward. Like, it's pretty new to me still, the raid boss, even without the challenge, so it's getting used to not missing the platforms. Hard part was just like not missing it one time and just throwing away the entire run. I ended up finding this strategy though, and it worked pretty well, and I would just basically stay on one platform and then use the grapple points to just swing around. It would kind of stay in the area, and then I just use my radar to land a few hits every so often. Then whenever he does his beam attack, I would just kill the small enemies to reduce Haruspex cooldown, until eventually finishing him off. And would you believe it, for all of that hard work, almost 40-minute fight, I get one chest, because the timing system. How fun. Anyway, if you're interested in the loadout, just Merv knife, random gear, pretty much. Specialization, nothing, and my skill tree. Comment any suggestions down below. If received well, I'll pick some ideas out. Thank you for watching. See ya.